Hi there. Welcome to A Garden in the Classroom. We are currently in our basement where we have a garden in our basement. My name is Barbara Krause. I am a rep for a company called Juice Plus, and we distribute a product called the Tower Garden. Now, there are a lot of different options for different types of gardens for classrooms. Um, this specific one is one that I am most inspired to share about. And so I hope that you find this interesting. We've helped dozens and dozens of teachers in our state in getting these implemented into their schools. And I hope you find this information interesting and helpful. And if you have any questions, go ahead and email me. And so it's B for Barbara, so BKRAUSE 9919 at gmail.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I have a PowerPoint presentation and I might pop out of that and go into showing you a little bit more about our tower. I'm just going to kind of wing it here. All right, hope you enjoy. Okay, here we go. We'll get this PowerPoint up and we'll start from the beginning. So welcome and looking forward to sharing all of this really, I hope, very helpful information. And so we do have a website, bkrause.towergarden.com. And then again, there's my email. And if you want to ask me any questions or via text, go ahead, 262-853-5571. All right, so a garden in the classroom, how to make gardening come alive in your classroom. And well, I'll just talk a little bit about me real quick. I grew up on a small dairy farm. And so this is it. It's up in Chippewa Falls. And I enjoyed the challenge of daily life on the farm. And right now I live in Cedarburg with my husband, and we have 2 sons. And I love to share my passion of quality food and just to be able to share the lifelong benefits that entails. So what do? I actually help people simplify their nutritional needs. Yes, I am a rep for this company that distributes these towers, and that is called the Juice Plus Company. This is one of their products, this Tower Garden, but they also sell a simplified version of getting your nutrition. So if that interests you, let me know. So what is this Tower Garden? This Tower Garden is an aeroponic growing system. My family, we've had our tower gardens for about 4 to 5 years, and I love that we get to be gardeners all year round, and that when there's different things happening in the real world, such as E. coli issues with romaine lettuce or listeria or whatever those other things are, I don't have to worry about our greens. I know that they are good. And so I love that about the Tower Garden. So no matter what the weather is outside, we can keep growing inside. These LED grow lights allow us to grow a large variety of greens. We could grow, for example, tomatoes and cucumbers, but it just takes longer than it does outside. So one thing that's great about the Tower Garden is it's very efficient, and it grows 20 plants in a 3 by 3 foot area of space. And it's very eco-friendly. It only takes up 2% of the water of a traditional garden and only 10% of the land. So it virtually eliminates the need to ship produce and store it because you pick what you need. So this is the version that we have is called the Flex version. We now have 2 versions of Tower Gardens. So the next version is called a Home. It's the Tower Garden Home, and it varies from the Flex in that it has 4 levels with 4 ports per level, and then the 5th level has 16 ports. So it's kind of crazy. It doubles the number of points from 16 points to 32. So with the traditional flex, you can have 5 levels, and then as you can see with this one, I added 2 levels. So we actually have 28 ports on our tower garden. Okay, and then with the home version, they don't recommend that you add levels to it because it can get kind of top heavy. So thousands of tower gardens are in classrooms throughout the world. Actually, it's really an exciting adventure to see how different countries are using these tower gardens in their classrooms and developing tower garden farms as well. You can grow them everywhere, from this patio to huge facilities where hundreds of towers can be an urban tower garden farm. So 6 reasons tower gardens are a great teaching tool. That, oh, I see I have a little bit of a grammar issue on my right up there. Oh boy. So the first reason is you'll grow more in less time and with fewer resources. So with the tower garden, you actually grow about 30% faster. And you get about 30% more yield in by only using 2% of the water and only taking up 10% of the space. You can grow inside the classroom with our LED grow lights. It allows this flexibility for your tower to get moved from classroom to classroom and get utilized throughout the school. You'll have less mess because you're not dealing with dirt, and you're dealing with a tank that really encapsulates the water well. And so there isn't the soil for weeding, and just overall, just an incredibly clean system. You can easily move this tower garden wherever learning is happening because it has a dolly, or with the home version, the wheels are actually in the base. So we also have growing support by having lesson plans and awesome customer service. The company prides itself on its customer service. They really stress it with all of us. And so I love that about this company. And so these lesson plans, you have free access to them, and they're available for pre-K through 12th grade, which is really nice that those are available. You just download them. You can bring your lessons to life. Here's just a couple samples of fertilization and plant research. There's just so many topics. So here's a lesson sample, learning about parts of plants. So there are subtopics which range from plant research, pigments, to mineral nutrition and flavors and phytochemicals. So here's a really quick question. We'll look at number 1 out of these 3. So why do plants make all these interesting flavors? Come up with as many ideas and reasons as possible. So there's an individual, his name's Stephen Ritz. He's written a book, which is a really good book, very inspiring. But he has been a strong advocate for the tower gardens in the schools. And when you read his book, you realize he really tested this. He tried a lot of different versions of a lot of different types of gardens. And when he landed on the tower garden, there was no going back. This guy is literally world renowned. So here's a really quick video of Stephen discussing the tower garden.
I love tower gardens in the classroom. They are the most cost-effective school garden aligned to academic outcomes one can ever imagine. And best of all, I can take my garden to the cafeteria, down the hallway, to one class, to another class, use it for science, use it for literacy, use it for art. Tower gardens are about so much more than growing healthy outcomes and growing healthy fruits and vegetables. They're about the science, the math, the record keeping, the data, the prediction, the analysis, and then of course there's the eating. And when you expand their palates, you expand their vocabularies. When you expand their vocabularies, you expand their minds.
There, he's so inspiring. I love watching his videos. Okay, so a couple important Tower Garden facts. One is it's very cost effective. It will pay for itself easily in 2 years or less, and it lasts a lifetime. I love that fact. And it's safe. It's made from USDA approved, UV stabilized food grade plastic. And so some people say, oh, I can make my own. It's like, well, good luck, because with this checks all the boxes, especially when you're dealing with children. So this is how we set up our Tower Garden. But first, here's a really quick video that shows how this garden works. Whoops.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your Tower Garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
There we go. All right, so now let's get our Tower Garden set up. So it comes in one big box, and then the LED lights, they come in their own box. So you can see that you get the cart you need to purchase for this is the Flex version. And actually, I'm just going to touch real quickly on the differences between the two. So with this version of this Flex that you see in this picture, you need to buy the cart. That is a separate thing. With the home version, the wheels are built in. And the water reservoir is only 13 gallons versus with this Flex, it's 20 gallons. So otherwise, it's pretty much exactly the same. Okay? All right, so this is everything. So the first step that they show you in the instruction manual, and it comes with a manual that is very detailed. You can have the kids in the class, they can put this together. And that's what I've heard a lot of teachers, the boxes are sitting there and the kids can't wait to get to it. So the first thing you do is you attach the hose to the pump, and then the hose to the underside of this lid for the Tower Garden. And there are two metal poles that come with it that go up through the middle. So those are on the inside of the layers for the tower. And so you put down one layer, and the inside of the, oh, I can't find my sample. Oh, here it is. So you can see the inside of it has holes in it. And so the poles, these holes are labeled A or B. And so you'll put both of the poles through hole A for the first level, and then B for the next, A for the next, B, A, B. And by alternating, that then moves these ports. So this would be the A position, this would be the B position, and so forth. Okay, so they're staggered. And at the very top is a shower cap, and the water bubbles up and escapes over the edges and through the holes where the water is reoxygenated as it cascades over the root system of the plants. And so these holes are placed sporadically purposely over the ports. And so then the next thing you do is you insert these net pots. And this is another thing I'd like to show you, because we have two versions now. That's one thing this company, when they can find a better way to do something, they do it. So I wonder if I could stop sharing for a minute. There we go. We'll stop share. And so this is what the port pots, the pots for the ports, what they look like. And then this is a clip. And it's actually pretty phenomenal. And it's a little bit easier to pull the plants out than with the ports, the pots. So here's one. And here's some kale. Okay, and look how that clip rests, the plant rests on the clip, and then the clip rests on the edge of the port. Okay, versus, okay, so here, notice how I kind of have to tug. I have to kind of tug a little bit, not too bad. And so then that's what the pot looks like. So both really, really good, but I'm kind of starting to like the clip a little bit better than the pot. Okay, all right. And then let me show you the lid. See, there's the lid, and the lid, the first layer, is actually permanently attached to the lid. And so then you're only putting 4 more on. Or in my case, I put 2 more on top of that. So, okay. All right, so we'll go back to the PowerPoint here. All right, give me 1 minute. And from current slide. All right, well, this is interesting. So we went through that, All right, and we're going through, there we go. Okay, so now, on current slide, ta-da, there we go. So those are the port pots or clips. And so it typically takes about an hour to put a tower together. And the more you put together, the more efficient you'll be. And then it's ready for your plants. Now you have a few different options with the plants. You can plant your own seeds, which again, Tower Garden provides you with a good variety of seeds. And you plant those in Rockwool medium, which again, the company provides that. And even one of these planter cages, which is great to, start your plants out. What I like to do is I like to make a plan so I know which seeds germinate and which don't. And I usually have a really good success rate. I'd say at least 95% germination rate, which is really, really nice. And then it's the anticipation. I love watching them grow. This is one of my favorite pictures. And then you pull apart, or you can cut apart the Rockwool, and then you place 1 in each port. Now, the option is, instead of germinating your own seeds and starting your own plants, you can order them. And we have several reputable places that you can order plants for Tower Gardens from. So just let me know if you would like that option. Or you can purchase plants from your local nursery. So what you have to do for these is you have to take the dirt off the root system, and then really, I like to run it under water and really make sure that there isn't any dirt. And then the whole plant, I run it out of water and try to get off any bugs that may have potentially be hanging out or have laid some eggs on the plants, especially if you're going to have it inside. You really got to be careful if you're going to put nursery plants in your tower. And so what I do is to put then the water into the tank. And so this takes 20 gallons. So I would need 4 of these 5-gallon containers. And I like to use these so that I make sure I have the right amount of water in my tank for the right amount of mineral blend. And so the directions are on the back of the bottles. It's also in the booklets. So it's really an easy process. And the mineral blend is specifically designed for tower gardens. It supports superior plant growth, and it's mandatory. You must have the mineral blend. Plants cannot survive just on water. It also enhances nutrition for the produce that's grown in the tower. It's incredible how tasty this food is. And to me, that really signifies that it is truly nutrient dense. It's incredible. And then you test your pH level, and again, these kits come with the Tower Garden, and it's a great way to explain pH to the kids and how important it is for plants and for us. So great science unit. So if you need to adjust the pH, they even give you the fluids for that as well. So now it's time to set up the timer. So setting up the timer depends on where you have your tower. So if you have it inside, you have the tower, the pump go on for 15 minutes and then have it set to go off for 45 minutes. Now, if you have your tower outside, like we sometimes will put it outside by our garden or by the garage. And so we need to have it on for 15 minutes and then off for 15, and then back on for 15 and off for 15, and so forth throughout the whole day. Okay? And now I'm just going to show you a short time-lapse video of after the plants are in the tower, in about 4 weeks, what you can expect from your tower. All right. So after the plants have been growing, there is a suggested maintenance schedule available. So this is in your booklet, or you can get it online. It's something that I like for teachers to print off, and then they can give it to the kids and they can figure out when they need to do what. So it's really a great way for the kids to really get involved in this indoor gardening. So one of the things to do is to trim back your plants, because sometimes they get a bit unruly and they can flower. I had some that flowered, and I can show you. So isn't that funny? And I just cut it back and let the plant keep going. Now some plants will bolt, and so you'll need to replant those. But start by trimming back plants, and then check your water level every few weeks. And what I like to do is I like to add in 5-gallon increments so that I can really easily add the correct amount of minerals. And then it's good to clean the pump. I don't do it every month, but it's good to clean it, I don't know, maybe every couple of months. And it's easy. You just pull the pump apart. There's mesh inside. Rinse that off. Put it back in. Snap it together. And I don't disconnect it. I just pull it from the hole in the cover, and I unplug it. And then I pull it out and I take it apart and then snap it back together. And then the knob on the end, that black knob, I like to have that set in the middle. Because I have 7 layers to our tower, I need to have it more set to the off a little bit so that the water power is a little bit stronger. But for a typical 5 level, keep it in the middle. That seems to work really, really well. So one of the things is to pull the plants out of the pots about once a month and take off a part of the root system. If you don't do this, the roots will get embedded into the holes for the next layer, and then people are like, why am I having a water backup issue? And it's because you haven't done your maintenance. And so some plants like nasturtium, oh my gosh, I've discovered that plant, the roots grow quite aggressively. So you really, if you grow that plant, you do want to make sure you pull the root system off. I'd say try to just go through every layer about once a month, no more than that. But it's good, and smells really good. And remove any old leaves from the plants and clean off the tower so it looks really nice. And then harvest. Oh my gosh, that's one thing. I love harvesting, and I love sharing the produce because it tastes so good. People are so amazed. And for schools, a lot of the schools are able to supply lettuce or whatever the cafeteria needs. They are able to supply that to the cafeteria, which is so exciting. And do replacement planting. So for example, with lettuce, even with the traditional garden, you have to replant several times throughout the summer to be able to have lettuce. The one thing with lettuce outside is, man, does it bolt on a hot day? Whereas inside, it's consistent. It will, it typically won't all of a sudden bolt on you. But it's good to plan to do replacement planting of lettuces about once a month, maybe a little bit more often. Now you have some plants, for example, this nasturtium. This nasturtium is probably 9 months old. So there are some plants like nasturtium and Swiss chard. Even if you trim back cilantro will last for months. So it's really exciting. There are plants that you don't have to worry. As long as you are harvesting, they will keep growing and growing, and they taste good. So when you do the replacement planting, you can keep old plants in the same tower as new plants. So sorry that some of my words are covered up here. So the tower garden is a very versatile teaching tool, from planting and harvesting to teaching about entrepreneurship and leadership. So you can make a difference while making a living with tower garden farms. They're entrepreneurs, businesses, and agents of social change can easily and sustainably grow nutritious produce for their communities with tower farms. Here's an example of one, and this one, it's showing that it can grow 250,000 plants in 1 acre. So how many plants can you typically grow on an acre in Wisconsin? I know it's not this number, it's a lot less. So if you know, email me and I'll email you back. But just to let you know, it's a lot less. I don't know if you just heard that, but my tower pump just turned on. And so now you kind of, if you can hear that, you kind of get a feel of what it sounds like. Hear that? Okay. All right, so with tower farms, you can grow 30% faster, 30% more food, 3 times faster, 30% more food. You're saving up to 90% of space. You're saving up 98% of the water compared to traditional methods. Plus, there's no weeding, no digging, no watering. Just so easy. So here's another quick video by Stephen Ritz. He so inspires me.
There's a myth that marginalized communities want cheaper food. No, they want healthy food. Kids are getting fatter. They're getting sicker. I have 200-pound sixth graders. And to me, that's appalling. I can't accept that. It's just not right. Listen, when kids lose weight, when they go home and they're bringing food home to their families, and grandparents are getting involved, and parents are getting involved, and people are talking about what's going in their bodies. Plant by plant, classroom by classroom, we're changing outcomes, we're changing destinies. I have kids who are teachers now. I have kids who are aspiring to things and jobs and places that they've never imagined. That to me is exciting. Put a seed in the ground. Put a seed in the ground. It's that simple.
All right, it's that simple. All right, there is a health crisis in America. And as Stephen said, having a 200-pound sixth grader, oh my gosh, it's so devastating for the child. But what can we do? We need to pay attention to processed food. It seems as if it has more, they're more concerned about its shelf life than the concern for human life. And produce is being transported over thousands of miles. And during that process, it loses a lot of nutrition. And so with the Tower Garden, this can be a new tower to table movement that you can have started in your schools and then have it just move out into the community, into families, homes. And so real food is our real medicine. And so do you want a Tower Garden for your classroom? I hope you say yes, because I have helped just dozens of teachers get these into their classrooms, and they're really enjoying it and inspiring students to even have a traditional garden in their own home. So when you order the Tower Garden, you get everything you need except the water. And so here's some pricing structure. So with the Tower Garden Home, it's about $970. And so that is the final price because it includes shipping, that price. And as long as you get the tax exemption certificate to Juice Plus, there's no need to pay taxes on this. And so the Tower Garden Flex, that does not include the LED lights or the dolly. So it's a touch more expensive, but in some ways I like the Flex a little bit more because you can add those additional levels. So anyway, but some people love the home version because it's a little bit more compact. It doesn't have such a big base. So our bundles, like I've said, includes everything but the water. And so funding options, there are a lot of different funding options that teachers have gone through. So for example, grants, there have been a lot of grants available. So if you need me to find some for you, I usually get an updated list quite often. And otherwise PTOs, or there may be somebody in the community that wants to make a donation for something like this to get Tower to Table going into the schools. Or even fundraisers. Now you're ready to order the towers. What's the next step? The next step is paperwork. And Tower Garden, they've got it right with this too, because they have it all spelled out. They have these detailed instructions to get a purchase order, to get the tax exemption certificate, and to even get my PIN number so that I know that you placed the order, and if you have any questions, you can follow up and you have someone you can work with. And we even have frequently asked questions section, so don't be embarrassed. We all ask questions, which is great. And to sum it up, we've covered a lot. We've covered up that the Tower Garden, you can use it to educate, excite, and inspire your students. The feasibility of it is the tower right for you and your students? In most cases, the answer is yes, and some it's not. And it could be a space constraint, but now with the home version, that's been alleviated for a lot of different teachers with those space issues. We also have lesson plans. They're all available, easily downloadable. And you can set up your tower, great instructions are provided. Remember to harvest and to do the maintenance once a month. And there are financing options. If outright payment isn't made, you can finance it over 12 months, and a very simple ordering process. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You could call me, text me. So there you go. So thank you so much for attending. I really love being able to do this from my home, but I really prefer to do this live. It's so much more fun. But maybe next year. Okay. All right. So take care of yourselves. Have a good conference from your home. And we'll talk with you soon.